And on my side here is Anthony Kende Sowore, Secretary of the Association. I have other members of the association that are present here, and also amidst us, we have people that spread across, so that you can have an idea of the people that are in this audience tonight. I have people that have been here way back 20 years, 30 years. So these are people that actually come into this country and they find their foot in this country, America, and they are able to make their landmark in the country called America. And if they have been given the same opportunity, they would have done even more if they happen to be in Nigeria. And also, I have people cutting across. We have doctors here, engineers, lawyers, people in their various chosen profession that have arrived here in Nigeria. So let me put it that way. So in order not to take much of the time, because the time is fast spent, because of the traffic and his journey, that actually makes him to be here a little bit after the time that we were actually scheduled. So I hereby say I'm sorry on that note. I know that I will invite him forward now. At this juncture, I will invite forward the presidential aspirant of 2019 for the country that we are all proud of, and that is no other nation on earth than Nigeria. Can we give a round of applause for Mr. Omoyele?
Thank you, sir. Let me first thank Honorable for making this happen, and also apologize for coming in a little late. We have been all over the place spreading this message, and as they used to say, spreading the gospel. I've just been in a church after we did our successful New York Town Hall meeting yesterday that was packed. And after that, we had to just attend to a number of people because the movement is growing every day, beyond even our own imagination, but not beyond our control. And yes, I want to introduce to you who just walked in, who's going to moderate part of tonight's event. And my understanding is that we have very, very competent professionals in the house. I know Honorable and I know Mr. Kennedy a long time ago when I was still very young and just getting married. He actually came to my house in New Jersey. It's been 14 years now since that happened. The other thing to say very quickly, sir, is I want us to start expanding our circle to include our women. I don't see them enough, and I don't want to believe that having lived in America for all these years, we still think that they belong in the other room. Yes. So we should be bringing them out because this is all about Nigerians across all gender, ethnicity, and religion, and whatever creed, class, orientation. What will shock what will shock every one of us a little bit, and I start thinking about that since this whole race started, and I've had the chance to meet more and more Nigerians. It's not as if I don't meet Nigerians. I work in media, and in the media department of social media, I see a lot of competence, and I have to publish their articles, interview them, both on TV, both on TV, sometimes on our radio as we have it. But what is shocking to me is that every day I get to meet more intellectual, hardworking, competent Nigerians who are doing well professionally. And I asking myself, how is it that Nigeria is so blessed with all of you, and we are ruled by dumb people? I'm not afraid to say this, but that's the reality that has been confronting me. It shows that the good people of Nigeria, the competent people of Nigeria, have not taken their destinies in their hands. We are always hiding out, waiting for outcomes of elections that are to determine our next life, our next generation, where we spend our next vacation, where our brothers and sisters can live. You know, the elections that will determine our habitats. In fact, the elections that will determine how long we live on this earth. Those of us who are here are lucky, but imagine how many of our compatriots are trapped within Nigeria. There are 6 million Nigerians officially that are outside Nigeria. But inside of Nigeria, there are 198 million Nigerians trapped in that place. And a lot of people who could have just made life easy by seizing the moment, taking the bull by the horn, and saying enough is enough. It has been 58 years that we've been trapped like this. And out of that 58 years, I have been part of 30 years of consistent struggle, fighting against the same kinds of people. I fought some of them when they were in uniform. Now we are fighting them when they are in civilian attires, because we have never taken the real step to take the country back from these characters. The other part that you should understand is actually a little bit scientific but not difficult. It is that Nigeria has been around since 1960, 58 years precisely by October this year. The life expectancy of Nigeria or Nigerians is about 51 years. It just improved a few years ago. It used to be 40-something years. Meaning that if you were born in 1960, you are supposed to have died. This is a reality that doctors in the house can attest to, and it is happening as we speak. Nigerians are dying at ages just above 50. And to change this direction, or to change the course of our movement into misery and in some cases perdition, I and others who are like-minded took the decision that we will take Nigeria back and do so with all the vigor and energy and courage and bravery that's available, with the last breaths we have. And in coming here today, I've only come to challenge you to be part of that movement. Because you are used to seeing political parties. You are used to seeing political organizations. In fact, I'm sure that just as I'm standing in front of you today, you must have seen governorship candidates, presidential candidates, all kinds of characters come in front of you and left promising heaven and earth. We have also seen instances, unfortunately, where people have gone from here to contest for election in Nigeria and ran back the same way they ran in, because they did not expect that Nigeria they left behind has gotten worse than they left it. They thought it was a theoretical thing. I think this has been.
So you want to take the light away from there?
I was.
Yeah, the light. Yes.
I was looking at. That nice.
Just turn it off.
I think the thing is off though. The microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's back up.
Okay. So it is just to tell you that this is not also novel. The intervention that we are trying to do from outside, we have tried it many times. In fact, I have done it in a different way, which is through media. And I can tell you that the rot in Nigeria is really, really strong and powerful. But is not beyond repairs yet. But I'm afraid we don't have much time left, and we don't have too many opportunities to fix Nigeria. In fact, I am afraid to the point that I think this might be one of the last chances we have. But the good news is that this is also the best time to do it. Because for some reasons, by their own design and machinations, the people who own Nigeria, who run Nigeria, who have run into the ground, have also dribbled themselves out of reckoning. To the extent that we are 10 months away from the Nigerian presidential or general election. They cannot campaign on any record. There's nothing to show for the last 3 years. There's nothing to show for the last 3 years for the new party that came in 2015. There's even nothing to show for the party that used to be there for 16 years before these last people came. So those two behemoths cannot campaign because there's nothing to campaign on. They cannot face the Nigerian people and say to them, look, this is what we used to do for you. We are going to come and do some of them. None. I mean, would they be campaigning on the darkness that you've spent $16 billion to create in the country? Would they be campaigning on the corruption that is so pervasive that the two of the parties actually shot themselves in the foot by producing a list of corrupt people within their parties and publicizing it without shame? Would they be campaigning in the hospitals they created in the country that they themselves cannot go to when they are sick? I mean, including the president. Would they be campaigning in the schools from primary to tertiary institutions that they cannot send their children to? Or would they be campaigning that they believe in a Nigeria where they can't even allow their kids to be born? Because that is what is pervasive today, is that there's no Nigerian politician that is of note. His wife is pregnant, who will allow the child to be born in Nigeria. Some of the people who are sitting down here must have played even goes to some of them in your basement to come and have kids. They raise the kids, collect the passports, then take them back. Because nobody believes in the country anymore. The people who are running Nigeria are people who are the enemies of the Nigerian state. The enemies of the Nigerian people. They are the greedy minority that we budget for every year. But these are the problems. And there's nobody, I believe, this is right here in this gathering who is not aware of the problems. We are aware of the problems, so much so that you have domesticated the problems. How have you domesticated the problem? In America, what is the easiest way to get your child to behave very well? You tell them that you are taking them to Nigeria on vacation. Yes. And you say, Daddy, please, I don't want to go to Nigeria. What do you want me to do for you? That is how bad our country is. But you have smaller countries like Dominican Republic that you take your children to and they say, wow, Daddy, when are we going back there? That is our country, and that's the story of our country. But this country can be fixed. We know it, we've seen it, we've practiced it. Most of you that are sitting here are also people who have worked in various departments in fixing America. America is built on some of your backs. You are running counties, states, you are running some of the best accounting firms. Some of you are some of the greatest lawyers. There is some of you are doctors who can take out kids from inside the womb, fix the kids, and put them back. That's a miracle. Nigerians are performing it all over the world. So how do we end up like this with people who are in terrible shape, people who have no mental, physical, intellectual capacity running our countries? If we were to put it in the computer language, as we say it, people who have low memory, who are running a country that needs a very powerful operating system. And I'm sensitive about making this sound like, oh, people in the diaspora. coming to come and save Nigeria, because people are sensitive around us too. They don't trust us too much, because a lot of us have also gone to Nigeria and done even worse things in Nigeria than the localized thieves. I know a lot of them. I write about them all the time. I get sued by diasporans who went to steal. And when we write about them, they sue me here in American court, and I've defeated a lot of them. A lot of them are contractors to the broken system. But what we have today is Nigeria that is broken. The country bleeding left, right, and center. No security. It's either Hezbollah, Niger Delta militants, Boko Haram, everywhere you turn, kidnappers. Everybody's got a piece of Nigeria in their hands. You look at it, the country is in a state of chaos. No electricity anywhere. What they call electricity in Nigeria is a twisted metal put together. They call generators. They even have a name for it. My own better pass my neighbor.
Better pass my neighbor.
I better pass my neighbor. That is how we provide ourselves electricity. Our infrastructure is in such bad shape that people who are from Benin, who used to travel when we were 10 years old, 15 years old, for 3 hours from Benin to Lagos, now takes 6 to 7 hours. That's if you ever make it down there. Ibadan, that used to be 1 hour from toll gates to toll gates, it's now about 3 hours. That's if you make it down there. It's taken over 20 years just to repair Lagos-Ibadan highway. They have not completed it today. I just came from Nigeria a few weeks ago. So I'm here to engage, but in engaging, I also understand that there's a way that we can get you to help. And I'll be very honest with you that I'm always scared of asking for help from Nigerians. And I mean it, because having done a publication called Sahara Reporters, when I first started, I was trying to generate funds through crowdfunding, PayPal. And it didn't take long to realize that the moment someone donates $50 to you, he feels that he owns you. About 2 guys had the audacity to call me and say, "Oh, I donated to you. Why did you write a story against my uncle?" On one occasion, I had to return money from PayPal to one of them in London with interest. I said, if you think because of your $50, I will not do what my conscience tells me, you can have your $50 and whatever interest you must have accrued. I did the calculation based on the bank rate, sent it back to them. But at times that this is so overwhelming that all of us have to join hands together. You can't fight godfathers and entrenched interests in Nigeria without some kind of arsenal. They honored the Commonwealth, there's no question about it. But you also cannot fight them by going to them to support you. One of the things I come across in the course of having this conversation is also a little bit of what I'll call Stockholm Syndrome with us. As bad as things are at home, and as bad as guys are, they all have sympathies amongst us. You speak against Obasanjo, people will come and tell you that the man is powerful now. Just be careful with him. He's an elder, he's our brother, he's our father. You say about Babangida, these are the pillars of Nigeria now. But personally, I don't have those kind of sensitivities. Because I say to Obasanjo, if you were to be a human resources manager of any company, he would have been fired a long time ago. Because each time he hired somebody to run Nigeria, the person ran Nigeria worse than the last person he hired. So why should we be sensitive about him? No reason. Why can't we just break free at once? In fact, we have been too nice to them. In places like South Korea, Brazil, Chile, people who occupy the same position they had some 20, 30 years ago, they are pulling their feet in jail for the same kind of infractions that they committed as these our so-called paternalistic elders. But the conversation today is not about them. It's about the future of our country and of our children. I understand that we are here happy, doing well, but I also understand that if Nigeria were to be okay, a lot of us will be out of here in a jiffy. That much I know, because I've spent 19 years here. And every year, for 6 months, I know what we go through, the weather-based depression. Where we just feel like we wish we can be in our own country. I went to Nigeria, came back 2 weeks ago, and there's something that's just so great to be woken up by crickets. I mean, to be sent to sleep by crickets and be woken up by cocks, And that sunshine that comes through the window, that is real, in the morning, it just makes you feel good. There's something uplifting about that genetic, being when you are in your natural environment. But all it takes for that to be punctured and demystified is to step out of the house and see the poverty on the street. It's in Nigeria that I know that poverty smells. It's a stench of poverty that hits you, and you're wondering what happened to this place. To the extent that our people prefer to die in the Mediterranean Sea than live in Nigeria. Young people were rescued from Libya about 3 months ago. A lot of them have gone back. They said they prefer the war-torn Libya to Nigeria. The reason is that we were doing the calculation yesterday of the electricity usage. Electricity usage in Africa. It turns out that the country of Libya, even though it has been at war for close to how many years now, still had better electricity than Nigeria. Egypt does. We are at the same level as South Sudan. This you can Google it. And this just can't continue. Can't. It will be unconscionable on our part to let this continue. So as much as I love to verbalize this, I also want to be interactive. I want to interact with the House. I have good news for you. The feeling we have about liberation is ravaging Nigeria north and south. The same reception that we had in Benin, the same we had in Kano. Even though nobody knew that I was coming. They're saying, look, this time nobody is even talking about this whole rotational presidency anymore, because they know that the only thing that rotates is suffering. Yes, the president doesn't rotate from the elites. They know themselves. The rotation doesn't, as we are speaking now, they are plotting again how to put somebody there whose job is to serve or service the elite in the country. Because for them, Nigeria is social security for them. And they are not just going to leave it without a fight. So, I welcome you again, and I thank you, Honorable, for making this happen. I thank our friends who accompanied us down here. Coming here was very interesting. It's about 2 hours drive to get here. And all we were thinking along the way is that if you have to drive to Benin, which is about the same time to drive from Lagos to Benin. But you couldn't have tried this going to Lagos from Benin at the time we are coming now and expect you to make it down here without being kidnapped on the way, or some kind of accident or something. But it's the distance between the New York hotel where we came from today and here is almost the distance between Lagos and Benin. So those people who tell you that Nigeria is complicated to rule, they're just lying. Nigeria is not even big. Nigeria is just twice the size of California. There's nowhere in Nigeria that you cannot fly to in less than an hour and a half by air. In America, there's Route 195, or is it I-95, from the south, from the northeast to the west. No, everywhere. But Nigeria, the best road you can find is Lagos, this and the one to Benin. And it's just, you have not checked there recently. They will not be mentioning it. There's nothing anywhere. So there's a lot of work to do, and we are in a hurry to do it. But like I said, the good news is that there is awareness and reception, and there's consciousness that something has to change and something has to give. That's the good news that I brought back from traveling home. Because I spent 23 days in Nigeria recently, and everywhere we went, the reception was just the same or getting better. And the same thing around the country. This next weekend, we're heading to London to meet Nigerians there, because this has to be done holistically. The rescuing of Nigeria has to be done holistically by Nigerians. We have tried to rescue Nigeria through Western Union. It didn't work. Now we have to do it by a general union. Yes, that's the truth. Because, as you know, when you live here tonight, you have to help somebody at home. And I'm not saying you should stop helping them, but also, they also have to help themselves. And that's the message we took home. And people are very ready and receptive to that. So on this note, I will stop talking and hear you out and take questions and take advice, suggestions, and also ask that you share with us whatever you can. You know, as they say in the parlance of the churches, nothing is too small for this liberation struggle to happen. I will leave you with the story of Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela went to see the Sultan of Brunei after he left prison. He was invited there, and after they took photos with him, the Sultan promised to give Nelson Mandela money for his election. And just to tell you that this whole election fundraiser can take you anywhere. So after the Sultan of Brunei had gone into the palace, Nelson Mandela went to the airport to wait for the money that was supposed to be given. The Minister of Finance was playing games with Nelson Mandela. He didn't come to the airport to give him the money that was promised by the Sultan. The Sultan of Brunei did not know. So Nelson Mandela was waiting at the airport. He had a private jet. 6 hours, nobody showed up. 7 hours, nobody. 8 hours. So the pilots were saying, "Look, we have to leave because we only have some few more hours before the pilots needs to be changed after 8 hours." So 9 hours, 10 hours, Nelson Mandela is still there. So he now made an arrangement to call the palace. And the Minister of Finance said he has gone to sleep, and anytime he goes to sleep until the next day. So the pilots and his advisors said to Nelson Mandela, "I don't think these people want to give us the money. They are just playing games." Nelson Mandela called and he said, "When is it that you'll be available?" It's 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. At this point, it was 12 midnight. So everybody in his team got upset. So Nelson Mandela asked one of them and said, "How many more hours is 12 to 9 a.m.? It's about 9 hours. He said to them, "I spent 27 years in jail. I can wait for 9 more hours." So that's what we are here to do. You know, we spent 58 years in doldrum. We can wait for the next 2 hours to interact. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Take it back. Take it back. Take it back. Take it back. We have a very unique opportunity to be able to take back our country from the grip, from the shackles, and the tutelage of those who are sworn, poised, and determined to continue to hold the country by the jugular and ensure that the potentials continue to be a mirage. But we are saying that the time has come for every one of us to be engaged, every one of us to be part of this movement, to say we've had enough, and that enough is enough of the geriatric leaders that we've had in Nigeria, that we have to unleash the potentials. What we continue to hear is that Nigeria has potentials. We've heard that for decades. The question now is, what becomes of those potentials? In the developed world, they've done so much in research and development. They spend so much money. All we have to do is to adapt the technology back home. We don't need to figure out how to create bitumen to make the roads. What we have to do is to make the roads. We don't need to figure out how to build aircraft. All we need to do is to have a Nigerian Airways and make it work. And at this time, the person who just spoke is someone I have known for over 25 years. He's a little bit shy, he wouldn't tell you a lot of his exploits. And that's what I'm going to do. We're not going to assume that everybody knows him, even though we know you are following the movement that is disrupting, that is shaking, and that is providing hope to millions of Nigerians that are quite despondent. Omoyele Sowore is a 47-year-old man, young, but I tell you he's full of energy. Apparently, I look bigger than him, but I draw a lot of energy from him. That's why I want to buy. We were together since Friday, having strategy sessions, discussing virtually every issue that we have confronting Nigeria, with a team of brilliantly young professionals who are Nigerians, but unfortunately are forced to use everything, their knowledge, intellectual, to do what? To serve America. You can imagine what it costs to be able to train one Nigerian graduate. And as soon as we graduate, what do? We move into exile. Omoyele Sowore, even as a very young man, was part of the struggle when he was in university. He was the president of the University of Lagos. And at that time, he confronted the military junta. And of course, he was put into detention, jailed at different times, even as a young man who was in his early 20s. There is a place in Nigeria that is so dreaded. It's called Intercenter. The military were so heartless, callous, that what they're going to do to you will be to degrade you and bring you down. There is a cell in the middle of a cemetery. You have a cemetery and you have a cell in the middle. A young man, even in his 47, you see how thin he is. Can you imagine the way he looked in his 20s? He now put someone in a cell in the middle of a cemetery, all by himself. But that never broke him. But that deed was making stronger. When we were fighting mandate by Chidem Abiola, I don't know if you've seen the video, Gogara. This gentleman was grabbed next to Chidem Abiola. Abiola's friends, they sold out. They took money from Abacha. And we all know what happened to Abiola. But Sowore here is still standing. Standing for the same thing we believe. That Nigeria has the potential and those have to be unleashed. That Nigeria represents the black race. Because for every black person you see, one is a Nigerian. And Sowore is saying that we should not continue to be looked down upon as fraudsters and criminals just because our leaders have failed us. During June 12 struggle, he was also part of what was called the Joint Action Committee of Nigeria, led by Chief Gani Farahani. May so rest in peace. Sowore had every reason to go to the private sector to make a lot of money, but he actually went to pro-democracy movement. All through, he stood for justice, he stood for equity, also stood for an egalitarian Nigerian society. That is what Sowore represents. Right after that, he came to America. And when he got in here, like we said yesterday, we just met on the street. I was like, "Yo, what's going on?" He said, "Oh boy, I'm here." I said, "How long are you going to be here for?" Maybe 3 years. But he's been here now for about 19 years. And I can tell you, those 19 years are not wasted. They are 19 years of him seeing how the system works, seeing how a society should be, and inculcating ideas. And this is the time for us in diaspora to be able to support him so that we can also bring out the best out of Nigeria, so that we keep talking about having potential. When Sowore got to the United States, he was the leader of a very formidable pro-democracy movement in America called the Nigerian Liberty Forum. That forum was able to put together Nigerian professionals and agitated to ensure that Jonathan was made the president when Yaradua and the cabal took charge in Nigeria. Right after that, we also formed the Sahara Reporters. Sahara Reporters is a very, I'm sure a lot of us know Sahara Reporters. It's a groundbreaking news medium where you can be sure that if you want to see all the exposes about those who are destroying Nigeria, you'll find it there. A friend once told me that Nigerian politicians, they visit Sahara Reporters twice in a day, mandatorily. First when they wake up and before they go to bed, because they're always scared that there's something about them that have been written there that would expose them. So he represents a singular strong bloc that was able to ensure that the Jonathan government was thrown out. And even with all the hope we all had in Buhari, I mean, I'm sure a lot of us are disappointed. Sowore had every reason to say, I'm comfortable in America. And I didn't need to get concerned about what's going on in Nigeria. But that wasn't his stake. While we were here, we all remember that the Chibok girls were abducted by Boko Haram when we were supposed to have a government in place. Sowore led more than 12 rallies and protests at the Nigerian house. Sowore is from the western part of Nigeria. The girls were from the north. So you can afford to say, oh, it's none of my business. But that's not the Sowore that I know. And that's not the Sowore that is before you today. That's not the Sowore that believes that Nigeria has to come together. And we all have to make sure we fight those who are holding us ransom. Sowore also took part in a rally, about 2 rallies, when there was an increase in fuel price in Nigeria, which was called Occupy Nigeria. Sowore doesn't drive with the Nigerian fuel, he buys his fuel in America. So the question could have been, why are you concerned? But for those of us who know him, he's very passionate about Nigeria. He thinks and breathes Nigeria. And he couldn't just let that go. There was a Minister of State for Foreign Affairs who came to the US to have a town hall. Sowore was there to say, hell no. If you need to have any town hall, go to Omoyele, go to Peru, go to Port Harcourt, and look the suffering Nigerians in the eye and tell them that the price of fuel has to be increased to 145. That is the Sowore that I know. That is the Sowore that we all believe can be able to restructure the thinking and be able to put the power back in the hands of the people. Fellow Nigerians, this is a very momentous time for us. We cannot afford to let this time slip. No matter the obstacles or the hurdles ahead of us, I can assure you that there will be a dawn of a new era, and Sowore represents that. A new era is coming in Nigeria, and we all have to be part of it. Right now, it's called a Take It Back, and we're taking back Nigeria. We need their support, and we know that the wealth of wisdom, intellectuals that we have in diaspora and of course in Nigeria will be able to take back the country. So having said that, we'll welcome contributions, questions, and comments from you. It's an interactive session. We need to hear from you, and we take ideas away from here. And of course, I'm sure she will also be able to convince you on what he has done. As part of efforts to raise funds for the campaign, because the Take It Back movement, which he represents, will be running in the election against the Nigerian Treasury. They have the Treasury at their disposal. But we know that the money we will spend won't be to be able to bribe, we won't be bribing anybody, but we'll be using it for structures and be able to let people understand that that time is gone when you take bread and ankara from the people only to mortgage your future. So please, we have souvenirs here, and we also have the tickets here. So we encourage you, because what we're trying to do is to be able to have Nigerians invest in the movement. Over time, like what Nigerians are used to is having politicians bring money to them. But we are saying now that once you take money from the politicians, then you don't have a moral standing to challenge them. But when you invest in a campaign, then you are a stakeholder, and you also have a right to be able to say, as long as you are not demanding undue favors, then you are also a stakeholder and you have a say. So at this point, please, I would want you to once again put your hands together for Mr. Omoyele Sowore. So if you have questions, comments, please raise up your hands. Yes, sir.
My name is Dominic Mba. I'm an Igbo man, and I am exceptionally grateful to God that we have this moment. I'm an engineer. I didn't come to this country because I was professionally or financially challenged. I was a deputy shop manager at a Jakarta Steel Company. The thing that really touches me, since I came to this country, there's no president in this country that doesn't have a Nigerian at the top management level. Even as we speak now, a Yoruba professor is a financial advisor to Trump. When Obama was the president, one of his closest technological advisors was a Nigerian woman. As we're all sitting down here, one of the major code writers of NASA is a Nigerian. As we are speaking today, the new electrical car by Ford is a Nigerian that designed it. So the issue is, like you rightly said, for too long we've been victims of fools. I'm from the East. I lived in Kaduna. I worked in Jakarta. I studied in Russia for 8 years. If you travel from Kano, Zaria, Maiduguri to Ibadan, it's like you're going from one country to another country. I am exceptionally proud for this moment. And you see what is happening? I've met so many Africans who blame their future and their deprivation on Nigeria.
That's right.
They tell you when the senior brother is still sleeping, how can you wake up? The thing is, it used to be Igbos. If Buhari is re-elected, there's going to be a civil war. But the point is, who do you fight? Because even the Northerners now, who are my friends, are officially opposing him. The so-called idiosyncrasy of the Igbos versus Yorubas, people have finally realized we're one nation. Yes. We are one nation. Nigeria's economic growth rate is higher than that of America today as we speak. As we speak today, Google it. Nigeria is the 5th largest oil producing country in the world. What is there to show? What is there to show? So the issue is, my brother, I'm behind you. Because we have to move on. Doki, you are here. There's a branch of American doctors who have petitioned World Health Organization. Why? Because a Nigerian female medical student just discovered the cure for breast cancer, and the World Health Organization have been keeping it hidden for the past 9 months. Why? 2 weeks ago on Fox News, I'm a Republican. Because I don't take crap. 2 weeks ago on Fox News, Harvard and MIT, which was the university I got admission, but my dad refused, I was going to go to America, was complaining that Nigerian students have taken over. We are respected. We are the most respected foreigners in this country. People attack us out of jealousy. People attack us out of jealousy. So my brothers and my sisters, please, it's wake up time. Wake up time. Wake up time. You know.
No, that's not. Or we can take. He gave us a pound.
Mr. Sowore, thank you very much for coming. I wish you the best. I first saw you, I didn't know you in Nigeria. I left Nigeria in the 80s, maybe 1980.
Wow.
I was living in New Jersey when I first saw you on TV. I actually saw you on a program. You were being interviewed by, it was a local New Jersey.
Steven.
Yeah, you remember the program. I listened to you and I was really impressed. So that was the first time I saw you. And then I got to know you through Steve. I beat Sophia. I wish you the best of luck. Nigerians, we've been saying for a while, when we talk about the problems of Nigeria, we end up with God will help us. God gave Americans the same thing He gave us. Arms to walk, legs, brains to imagine and to do things. He gave us everything, and He's not going to come down from heaven to help us. He's going to use a man. And when you see the man that He wants to use, will you recognize him? When you see the man. And but you say God will help us. God is not going to come down, He's going to help us to somebody. Many of us are scared to get involved in the process. When somebody got up and said, I'm not scared, let's support it. Many of us say we don't want to die. That's why we don't get involved. But I'm sure everybody here has people who have died in their sleep, who have died on their way to the hospital. You have people who have died from sickness, who are not 10 years old, 20 years old, 50 years. So you don't need to be involved in politics to die.
Yes.
And if you look at Nigeria and look at the cause of death of many people, you will find politics being the cause of death as probably at the bottom. You probably won't. It will be so small that it won't amount to any percentage of the population. So people die every day without participating in politics and without fulfilling their lives, without fighting for things they believe in. And you say you don't want to die. So even if you don't want to die, you don't want to get into politics, if you donate money, if you support somebody who wants to run, there is no way, you're not exposed to any death. You're not supposed, nobody's coming to kill you for donating money. So you say you don't want to die? Okay, somebody wants to run, donate money and support him in the background. Nobody's coming to kill you. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, we pray that we get somebody who will get up and fight the system. When we'll see that person, will we recognize him? That's my question to us. It looks like a daunting challenge for him, but nobody knew. I don't want to use this comparison because that man is a different man entirely. But nobody knew Trump would win, right?
I know.
But he won. So don't give up. You have to. We have to get up. We have to support Mr. Sowore. It's not getting involved in politics that will kill you. A lot of things kill Nigerians.
Yes.
Bad roads kill Nigerians.
That's true.
People are driving at night, they run into bad, broken down trucks in the middle of the highway and they die.
Yes.
Okay? People get stuck in traffic, they are sick, they are running to the hospital, they die. Those are the results of bad government. So you say you don't want to die, we are dying daily of bad governments that you don't want to die from. So it's about time to change things, to move Nigeria forward, to see what we can achieve. We need to get Obasanjo. All of us have seen photographs of Obasanjo, Buhari, Babangida, Abacha playing a game in the 70s or in the 60s. And these same people continue to control us one way or the other since these 5 people. And they're in their 80s now and they still want to. When people like Gani, Fela, when they ask for accountability, they jail them, they put them in jail. Now they are pretending they want to establish accountability. When people ask for it, they jail them. Now they are pretending they are the saviors now. It's time to kick them out.
Yes!
It's time to kick them out. Okay? No Buhari anymore. Kick them out. I will donate today, Mr. Sowore, and that's not my last donation to you. Okay?
Thank you. Good evening, sir. You don't leave the microphone. Good evening, sir. Thank you.
Yes, I'm really inspired. I'm really, really inspired. But first thing first, I need a clarification because when you are participating in politics, there are certain rules and ethics that already rules and regulations that are to the ground. Which party are you going to align with, or are you going as an independent? You know, because with the movement, which is built, which is growing, is good. The movement can lead to a party, but I don't think that will make it by 2019. So that's my first question. Okay, the second question I have, which is not really a question, but an advice. I've read a lot of books from old politicians. I've read Bill Clinton's book. The Obama book is not yet out. I've read the one from UK, the 2 former PMs, and one guy from India. And they were talking of grassroots development. It's sort of things we are getting into now. And I believe one thing you should take, one thing you need to know is that we outside the country, the diaspora, it's good and those local, but you also need some sort of foreign support. Recently, Buhari was here to see Trump. It's all part of politics here. I believe you should be at this stage thinking on how to get some kind of influence or some kind of interaction with one of these key world leaders. Because if the old game masters in Nigeria, the old politicians like I said, Obasanjo, Babangida, all that, knows you are in constitution with people like even Trump himself, or the British PM, one of the European leaders, they will soften whatever approach they're going to give.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's make our contributions very short. One question, very brief comments if you have to. A lot of people want to ask questions and we're like almost 3 hours away to go back to New York. All right.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry to manipulating the process a little bit. It was reported recently that Nigerians contributed 20 billion? 22 billion annually. We send home to Western Union. The candidate is even just asking us for 2 million. We spend 22 billion to Nigeria annually. We have the power to take over the government of Nigeria.
Take it back! Take it back! Take it back!
I know you want to take 3 questions that you answer. So,
my name is Olakunle Ajiboye. I will say I admire your courage and It's my very pleasure to be part of this gathering today. I'm going to start. I'll make a suggestion after, but I'm going to say this: that when you started talking the other time, I think you said virtually everything that I've done that has problems with Nigeria. I don't have party affiliations, okay, either here or anywhere. What I want to hear from you is exactly how do you want to fix these anomalies that you are talking about. So I would suggest that when next you are talking to people, if you are able to enumerate what these problems are, I'd like to have what kind of solutions you want to provide. And for me personally, I would like to know how, not only just telling me I'm going to fix the electricity problem in Nigeria. I want to know how you want to do it so that I can be sold on you that you are competent, okay? And I would like to hear from you also, how are you going to rally the Congress behind you, okay? How do you want to get the parliament? Because you are not a dictator, you are not a military person.
That's true.
You cannot do things alone by yourself. There has to be, you have to coordinate yourself with the other branch of government. That is my number one. Number two, I think I discussed this with Honorable. I was going to tell him that when next we meet where we are doing our FAG, that we can start some kind of group on WhatsApp. This is the age of social media.
Yep.
All those young guys in Nigeria, why can't somebody target them? At least something, we can come up with something that will interest them and make them want to be part of the movement. All these young ones that we are talking about, even if we have numbers and they contribute only 10 naira or even 100 naira, okay? For someone like you, yes, for someone like you who have the courage, okay, and you're presenting yourself for this leadership, I think that will go a very long way to help. I, as a person, I would like to know more what you want to do, and when I'm sold on that, I promise I will contribute to your campaign as much as I can. I'm not saying I don't believe in you, I just need to be sold on how and what you need to do to rule. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I think I did mention that this is supposed or will be an interactive session. One of the things I do not like to do too much is to assume that I know it all, especially when I'm meeting with Nigerians who have contributed to the development of a first-class nation like America, whether I would like it or not. So we are used to our leaders throwing manifestos at us, in a very cocky way. But part of what I'm doing now, or what we are doing, is a need assessment tour, in which we are asking Nigerians. This is not the first place I have appeared, by the way, in the US. And in Nigeria, I did 23 days non-stop between April 3rd and May, I think it was April 30th or thereabouts, that we were traveling around Nigeria, and found out that the needs of people in the north and the south, deep south, middle belt are different but almost the same. When we did use social media, for example, to crowdsource on what are the needs of Nigerians, we did a survey. Turns out that it is not what we initially thought was that was a need that was uppermost in their mind. We found that it was health. Health was their number one need. But we looked at it because we ourselves are professionals in our own right in analyzing and distilling some of these needs. And we asked ourselves, what are the causative effects of bad health? First, when there's no security in a country like Nigeria, there's no way you can feel safe enough to be healthy. Worse, electricity. There's no way you can be healthy in a country where there's no electricity. It's almost, you can take that to the bank. Because you know that water is not even a big deal today, because every home in Nigeria has become a sort of a local government
we provide your water, your electricity, and your security. You provide church, mosque within the same premises, and your hospital too. But we also discovered that for all these good things to happen, infrastructure is key. And the question you are asking about how do you intend to tackle these things, we have figured them out. That is why we are in a hurry to go home and take over democratically power from the people who have no capacity to do it. For example, with regards to power, we just need to create an energy mix. Nigerians are not only doing great medical work in the US or professorial work. I'm a professor. I've taught for 8 years at the School of Visual Arts in New York as an adjunct professor. But Nigerians are also part of the people that are making the electricity in the world, renewable energy, work in several parts of the world. Nigerians are part of people that built the 4,500 megawatts of electricity through solar in Morocco. Morocco is now selling solar power to Malta and France. So that is one area we are immediately going to solve the power problem. The northern part of Nigeria is almost 24 hours producing sunlight and heat that can power this unknown area of generation of electricity. Nobody has ever introduced solar power to Nigeria. It's not part of even our national policy for generating electricity. To put together 4,500 megawatts of electricity in northern part, you need over 1.5 million people just to put the parts together. And you ask, where do you get the money? People are all over the place looking to invest money in these projects. Nigeria is just not a destination for it because, to be honest, when they're talking about countries with government, Nigeria doesn't come up in the discussion. We have a guy on our team, sir, who is an IT tech person. He lives permanently in Sacramento, the California, Silicon Valley area. And he said every time they are discussing where technology will go next, the CEOs of those areas are saying, Nigeria, Nigeria. But they can't find any reason to go near Nigeria because the news that is coming out of Nigeria is not attractive to the kind of investment they want. But guess what? Facebook has 40 million Nigerians that is contributing to their existence and making money. That makes the Facebook guy make more money when he's asleep than when he's, because when Nigerians are awake, he's asleep. That is the truth. But they also want to invest in Nigeria. If electricity is resolved, sir, Nigeria will move from zero to infinity. Because an average Nigerian is an innovative human being.
Yes, right.
There's no question about it. Even when we are doing fraud, it baffles the FBI. How could people? There was a guy, a Nigerian guy, who was arrested in Texas for doing fraud. He was not only doing the fraud of collecting all the money, he was also calling in medicine for himself from the pharmacist. Even when they asked the FBI woman to date him, the woman forgot the job of catching him. He was so good, he didn't know when she forgot to be reporting back to her bosses. That's a Nigerian for you. So we are a double-edged sword. We can be very, very good and very, very bad. But the reason why we can be bad is because our good side has never been exploited. You know, we are just treated as bad people. And like you mentioned, sir, where's Mr. Is it Dominic? Yes, Dominic, come back, sir. When you mentioned, you said something very, very powerful here tonight. And it's the same feeling, or in fact, the inquiry that I get, is that other African nations are upset with Nigeria or Nigerians because they say you are the people holding us down. You know, when we went to a church today,
after I answered that, 2 people came. So one lady came from Liberia. He was interested, and then Cameroon. He said, if you get it right in Nigeria, Cameroon is next. And I said to her, it's not Cameroon alone, it's the whole of Africa that will get it right. We have there in the southeast, Onitsha, Aba, the best shoes you can get in Africa come from Aba. But our leaders prefer to be buying from Italy. All we needed is to just allow Aba to progress by providing the second Niger bridge or a cargo train to the third Niger bridge that will be moving every 3 hours. Even if it's shoes alone, we want to be supplying to the whole continent of Africa. It can be produced out of Aba. But guess what? To be honest with you, whether we accept it or not, the leaders in Nigeria today, they are still fighting the civil war against that part of the country. And when I went to Onitsha and I went to Owerri, I said it to them, you know the reason why you are like this? The people who are fighting the war are still fighting the war. You need to vote for a guy who was not part of the war.
Amen.
Yes. I was 1 year old when the war ended. I don't have any fiber of war mentality. But the Obasanjos of this world, they fought the war. They were the ones who shot and killed. The Buharis of this world, they were the ones who went and rounded up people and killed them. I'm not saying it because they said, when I said that, they call it hate speech. But you are the one who carried out the act of hatred. When we went to Onitsha, I'm just trying to convince you, but it has to be the conviction has to be by way of context. Because I have traveled in Nigeria. When I went to Onitsha, there's always traffic in Onitsha. That's road. Up-highway road. When we got to the place where the traffic was, this traffic, we had been in it for an hour. The pothole is just about this table. And I asked myself, instead of sending soldiers to go and be shooting at IPOB members, why can't we send the Army Corps of Engineers to just fix the place, this place, so that the traffic, and we will see whether the Igbo man loves Nigeria or not.
Yes.
That is the truth. It's not Igbos or Biafrans alone that want to secede, though. A lot of Nigerians have mentally seceded from Nigeria.
Yes.
They are just there, hoping that if you want to know how many Nigerians don't like to be in Nigeria, take about 500 Titanic ships and dock it in Lagos and see if there will be anybody left, including governors.
There won't be anybody.
I'm telling you, including governors, councillors, senators, all of them will enter the ship. And so, yeah, Captain, fire on. Even without asking the destination. If Ghana needed visa to be entering, the queue at the Ghanaian embassy will be the longest. Nigerians will go and pay anything to go to Ghana. That's how bad our situation is. But you cannot fix the problem without understanding the context, without understanding the people who created the problem. In fact, the solution to the problem is so easy, I don't need to convince you. I'm serious. Because why? The guys who are governors in Nigeria that they call best governors, they cannot manage councils in America. You here can get somebody who can construct your driveway with correct bitumen, and you pay. And if you add all of our driveways here together, it's about maybe some almost 100 kilometers of driveway. All of us with driveways. For those of you who have ever done driveway. But you cannot find a governor in Nigeria with all the allocations who have constructed 100 kilometers of highway that is of high quality anywhere in Nigeria today. None. We found out in our research that to construct a kilometer of road in Nigeria, it takes $6.5 million, just 1 kilometer. The World Bank average for every other country is $1.4 million. So every time a governor is constructing a highway in Nigeria, he will add $5.1 million for himself first. That is in addition to the kickback. We're talking about the security vote that they collect. So when they construct 10 kilometers of highway
of poor quality. What have they spent?
Quality.
Yes, of no quality. That means you put 10 times $6.5 million to construct just 10 kilometers of highway. It's not possible. Whereas if they did it the other way, which is how it is done with the best standards, you would have gotten at least 3 times that or 6 times that. So when you are looking for solutions, or you want me to convince you, I'll say I'll start from there. I'll be constructing roads for 1.4 instead of 6.1. Because why? I have a history of not stealing. I have fought the thieves in Nigeria in the last 12 years on Sahara Reporters. I say it without equivocation that I am an equal opportunity offender to the political class in Nigeria.
I can attest to that because I do read trial.
Yes. So most of the things we are discussing, the reason I'm not too enamored with telling you about solutions are very easy. I can go and copy it on Google and reread it to you as poetry. It won't solve the problem if I don't have the character to implement it when I get there. You know that some of the worst governors in Nigeria, who's from Enugu here, sir? Enugu. You are from Enugu State.
Enugu State.
Enugu. You are from Enugu. Is it Enugu that they had the one that used to put adverts in the paper to what start the glory? Unamani.
I sent him an email. He refused to reply.
Yes. Unamani was a doctor. Was he not the doctor in Miami?
Yeah.
No, in Miami. This guy
is my neighbor.
He spent 8 years in power. He's undergoing trial now for corruption, but you know the EFCC trial doesn't end. It's an open-ended trial. This guy constructed only one bridge, and I think it was a bypass somewhere in Enugu. He spent more money on newspaper advertisement for that one bypass than the cost of the bypass itself. Those are the kind of characters we have. Is it difficult to do a bypass? Yes. No. No is my answer. So the way to convince you is to just look at my track records. My track record, that for 30 years, by next year it will be 30 years that I've been fighting the system, including when it was even more dangerous, when military regimes would put armored tank in front of the University of Lagos. We would dare it, and by 1999 we cleared them out of power. But they came back even more ferociously in Agbada, and we are in more trouble now than we were under military rule. During military, they were stealing percentages of our budget. It used to be, they called them 10%ers in those days. Now they are stealing entire budgets of the state. If you go to some states in Nigeria, you cannot find their budget is a super secret document because they don't want you to see it because they are not implementing the budget. And what do they do at the end of the day? They give Nigerians what they call stomach infrastructure. Is Nigeria is the first country in the world where they build bridges, schools, and hospitals inside people's stomach. Only country in the world. And they have no shame about it. In fact, they have upgraded and graduated to the level where they're saying to Nigerians, we don't give a damn about you. They have now started telling us that monkeys are consuming naira. Snakes are swallowing naira. That's a country where do you need a rocket scientist, sir, to tell you that if Sowore is president of Nigeria, that snakes will not be coming near the treasury? Exactly. If any snake comes around the treasury, you know what will happen to him? He will be smashed. So I just want to let you know that we have in place a policy that we call Spicer Hits, and it's a 10-point agenda of how we intend to take Nigeria to the process back and put it on the path of progress and prosperity. First is security, power, infrastructure, anti-corruption, economy. We want to do restructuring, health, education, agriculture. Modern agriculture, not propaganda agriculture, where they come and claim that the rice mills in Malaysia are closing down.
whereas there's no rice mill in Nigeria. Nigeria has one rice mill in Kebbi State that can be called global standard. The Minister of Agriculture claims that we are producing so much rice that Malaysia is closing down the rice mill. The Malaysian embassy had to come out and say it's a lie. And when we did our research, in fact, we are importing more rice, but through Benin Republic. Right? And the final thing is tourism. Nigeria has got this great potential. Tourism, people. I was coming on my way here today, and this is not a joke. I stopped at bar place to drink coffee, buy coffee. This lady saw me and said, "Are you from here?" I said, "No, I'm from Nigeria." I said, "Are you a movie star?" You know, because our entertainment industry has become a cultural revolution to other countries. Sports is of the potential we have everywhere. It's just we just need leaders. We just need real leaders, not rulers and mediocres. The moment we put real leaders in place, our country will be developing at a rate that even economists will be wondering what it is about Nigeria. Because all these other countries that are developing and doing well, some of them came to borrow seeds from Nigeria.
Oh, yes.
We are importing oil now, I think from Singapore, Malaysia. They went and took our seed from NIFO in Benin. Right? And now we are importing palm oil. The same thing for gasoline. We are importing gasoline from Niger Republic that doesn't have oil. We are importing gasoline from Cote d'Ivoire in a refinery that our own people went and set up there from money they stole from Nigeria. But when you ask them about Nigeria economy, they will show you PowerPoint presentations of how well we are doing. That our sister who went from here to Washington DC, there was a time she also, as a matter of fact, audaciously wrote that she rebased Nigeria economy and said the Nigerian economy was doing better than that of South Africa. And we asked her a simple question, Madam, how can your economy be doing better than South Africa that has 62,000 megawatts of electricity with 45 million people or thereabout? Your country that has 198 million people has 3,000 megawatts of electricity. If you bring Nigerian leaders to New York to run it for 6 months, there will be no one subway. I'm telling you, 6 months, 6 months will even be too long. They won't be picking up garbage. You all of you will be relocating from here to another country. If they handle this country will shut down. But we must end that. You asked about party, and I will stop here. Party is something we are working on. We cannot create our own party anymore, but the reason we are building a movement is that there are a lot of parties around already established, 68 of them. We cannot go to a party without our DNA intact. In fact, some of those parties are created by PDP and APC as special vehicle operational parties. So we are looking at parties that are like-minded. We went to Kaduna, met Bayville Musa. Bayville Musa runs the oldest party in Nigeria called the PRP. There are a lot of parties in Nigeria, but we wanted, or we are talking to the parties to form a coalition of parties so that about 10 or more parties can have one candidate. It looks better that way because each of the parties with their comparative advantages regionally, like some parties don't even operate nationally, they just want to win their local government. So wherever you find you to have strength, we align with you in that place. Our agenda, or our goal is to win the presidency, but we also want to win senator, in the Senate. We want to win in the House of Reps, so that will solve the problem about how do you deal with the National Parliament or the National Assembly, as we love to call them. I say it everywhere I go. I'm not afraid or shy to say it. If you wishes to become horses, I will abolish the Nigerian Senate. Because that place is a waste of time, it's a waste of space, it's a coven of thieves. Governors who stole money from their state, that's where they're going to retire. We should
we should demolish that retirement home of thieves. But I cannot do it myself. It will be the decision of the Nigerian people. But if we have the opportunity to run our country the way it should be run, the way it is run elsewhere, that will not be a difficult thing to do. So this election is not just election for presidency alone. It's election for people, even with the number of governorships that we are looking at. We are looking at a lot of people who are currently in position of political power that will be relieved of those political positions, including the #1 ghost worker in the country, President Buhari, who will be asked to go back to his village via a democratic election. So that is to answer the question of parties. Parties are important to this, and we are going to have to join it. But there's no allowance for independent candidacy, at least not yet. Otherwise, it will probably be my preference, so that I won't have to deal with some of the politicking that goes in the parties. But we also have to show our ability to practice internal democracies within the parties. We'll go and win primaries. It's important so that people can tell that, this is a preparation that has gone through the crucible. So there's no question about it. And I want to just say that that, in my view, answers some of your questions. And we'll take more questions, as I said, comments. But be nice to us, because we still have to drive back to our own part of them. We don't want to be kidnapped on the way.
This is America.
This is America.
Thank you. This event is being live streamed on Facebook, and as at the last check, we have thousands watching the program. Right now, we're in New Jersey. We were in New York yesterday, so we're in Jersey. We have a question from one of the online participants, Flexi St. Michael. His question is, what is Sowore going to do to solve bribery in the police and harassment at the airport by immigration officers? So you're taking up the question. So I'm aware that we have numbers. So can we have number 3? Please kindly make it very short. Just one question per person. Thank you.
My name is Paul Suji. I'm from Imo State. I'm from Imo State. I grew up in Lagos in the 70s, in the 80s. I mean,